Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Today I am on the public test server to have a look at revolvers. So in the patch notes of the latest PTS, there were a bunch of weapons that got buffed and all of the revolvers got a bit of a buff. And what I want to know is if the increase in damage is actually enough to make them feel like powerful weapons, if it goes far enough. So you can see the 44 revolver, it got a buff. Now this is base damage without any perks with a maximum level gun. That's the numbers we're seeing. So 44 revolver goes base from 60 to 72, which is a 20% buff. The pipe revolver goes from 55 to 70, which is a 27% increase. Single action revolver goes from 62 to 82, which is a 32% increase. And the Western revolver goes from 65 to 84, which is a 29% increase. So I am using the same build on the PTS as I use on live. So when I show you the number comparisons, you can look at the build and see what we're working with here. Now there is one difference, Starch Jeans. It is now an endurance perk, so that has moved over from luck. Other than that, all the damage cards are the same. So if you just want to have a look at it, there you go. And I also have follow through. I won't be sneaking for all of these since revolvers aren't necessarily meant for that. So follow through may come into play at times. So I'll be testing 3 guns because these are ones I have on live. I'll be testing the pipe revolver, single action revolver, and a Western. I'm not going to test the 44. It's really close to the Western. It's just a little weaker. So if the Western it should feel pretty similar. So I don't really feel like I need to test that one as well. And also I don't have one on live to compare to anyway. So first off, we have the pipe revolver, and the pipe revolver is unique among revolvers in 2 ways. First of all, it can benefit from both rifle and pistol perks if you have it equipped with a rifle stock, and it also can be suppressed. And I have both of those things going for it. So this one is anti-armor with explosive projectiles and bonus VATS critical charge. We've got it modified with a calibrated receiver for critical damage. And on live, as you can see, on the live version of the game, this does 113 damage. And in the PTS, it's 144 damage. So that's a pretty decent jump. Next up, we've got the single action revolver, and this one is anti-armor with extra critical damage and reduced AP cost. In the live version of the game, this does 115, which feels very underwhelming, especially when you consider the reload mechanic. And on the PTS, it is 152 damage, which is pretty significant bump. There's not much you can do with this in terms of modding it. You can put a prime receiver or a regular. Prime gives you more damage, so why not? And you could do, I think there's the ivory grip. Other than that, there's not really much in the way you can do with modding this. And then we've got a Western revolver. It is anti-armor with extra critical damage and faster movement speed while aiming. This does have a calibrated receiver on it for critical damage. On the live version of the game, it's 130 damage. On the PTS, it's 168 damage. So I do have Eagle Eyes for extra critical hit damage, and also Sweet Mute Fruit Tea for extra critical damage. So I need to make a note of a couple of things here. I showed you the build incorrectly in the beginning. It should have been Demolition Expert instead of Gunsmith. So I had that equipped when I shouldn't have. So I've gone ahead and equipped Demolition Expert. That's only going to affect the pipe gun. The other two do not, or the pipe revolver. The other 2 guns don't have explosives, so it doesn't matter. But the numbers on the Pip-Boy, they are the same. Explosive is now separate when you fire the shot, so it's broken out separately. So it doesn't affect the damage in the Pip-Boy, but it will affect the damage actually in combat. So this is actually the second time. I didn't even catch that until I edited it. So this is actually a second go-round for me for the pipe revolver. The other 2 guns aren't affected, so what you see there is the first run, but this is a take 2 for this one. And since I do have this one set up with a suppressor, it's intended to be a stealth weapon. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to do it with sneak attacks and see how it goes. All right, that's a 1 hit. And that is something I did see in the first go round. It was underperforming a bit. And I was kind of surprised at how weak it felt. And, that missing out on that 60% bonus is, that would account for a lot of it. Let's see here. It's still not feeling super strong though. I will say that. Critical hits though, nice and strong. And I also had a bug the first time around where I was not able to stay in caution. I was in danger the whole time. So there was issues with that first test. So it's probably just as well that I screwed up and I have to do this part over again. Let's see, a thruster, if we can do that. All right, that was a critical hit. So those will do pretty nice damage. And this is benefiting from rifle and pistol perks. So, it should feel, considering how much you have to put into it to even get to that number. I'm using rifle and pistol perks. Now, granted, they're not all at max level, but it's pretty close. you'd expect, you know, a decent bang for that kind of perk investment. And there we go, and I stood up because I didn't see him, but yeah, he didn't see me still, so still in caution, which is good. As long as I could stay in caution. I mean, that is one thing that I noticed. So the first time around, I was in danger pretty much the whole time. I just could not get into caution. There was just something wonky with this area on that server, which, you know, that happens not very often, but I have seen that before. So my damage was, of course, way less. But you can see you get like the floating numbers here and there once in a while because of the explosive effect. But this is definitely, well, that seems like that should have been, oh, now I'm in danger. Seems like it should have been a one hit. Now I'm in danger again. Like I shouldn't be in danger. There's nothing, well, maybe I'm in danger. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. See, but you can see the damage is just way worse. Once you're no longer hidden on this. It's just, it's one of those guns that you still, like, even after the buff, you kind of still need everything to be perfect to be able to do kind of the damage I think you should do. I mean, again, this is getting rifle and pistol perk benefit. And, you know, for that kind of thing, it should be really strong. Honestly, I think this should be much stronger than it is. It just doesn't feel, yeah, it's feeling a bit weak, to be honest. Now, I'd say if I was running this as just a pistol or just a rifle, yeah, I'd probably be okay with it. But the fact that I'm using so many perks and the damage is still kind of just so-so. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely not great. Now, just because robots can be a bit tough on the armor side, let's see how we do. Let's see, that's a level 75, 2 hits. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I'm getting a massive benefit from follow-through, though. So that second hit is going to, that was a critical. So, I mean, it feels okay. That's just kind of where we're at. This definitely doesn't feel, I would not call this powerful, but it feels okay. Now, if I was doing, you know, if I was building this weapon from scratch, I don't know that I would do, yeah, see, that's kind of, I mean, to me, it feels like a sneak attack for all that perk investment should be a one hit on things, unless it's, you know, unless it's a boss or a max level. I mean, these aren't even level 100. And, well, this one is. Critical, well, that was actually a critical. Was that a critical? I think that was a critical, and it didn't even, see, to me, a crit should be a one hit for sure on any regular enemies. So, yeah, I mean, it feels okay, is about what I would say about it. It doesn't feel amazing. It feels like we got a step in the right direction. You could make the argument that because it is a pipe gun, it shouldn't be super strong, but the fact that I'm getting benefit from 2 sets of perks and I'm still kind of, you know, not really super impressed with it. Yeah, maybe it could use a little more help, I think. So yeah, I'm testing these under pretty controlled conditions. So if I was in something more difficult, like an expedition or daily op, I don't know. I don't think that's something I would want to do. But this is the single action revolver. Since they're not silenced, I'm not even going to try and sneak because it is a loud weapon, and to me, you shouldn't need to have to sneak to make it actually feel good. Actually, that felt pretty good, considering I'm not sneak. Now, that last one was a critical, so that actually felt okay, but then we have the reload, which is a bit of a thing. And yes, I know about quick hands. I know someone will make a comment, hey, try quick hands. No, I'm not going to try quick hands. So let's see if we can, obviously when you miss with these, and that is the biggest thing, when you miss, because, well, okay, that was a critical. This is actually pretty good. I actually don't mind this damage so much. This is actually pretty decent. Now, these are not level 100 super mutants, but still, and it's got the extra critical damage. And weapons like this, I would say more than, you know, other things. I would say revolvers, that was a critical hit. Revolvers in general are more dependent on, okay. Problem with the single action, you don't reload all the bullets at once, so it's a bit of a thing. You have to be really committed to use these. Yeah, there we go. That wasn't a big hit. For me, the single action revolver, I think because of the reload mechanic, it should be the most powerful revolver. It should hit harder than anything, just because of that reload mechanic. And it's still okay. So against level 50 and 60 enemies, it's fine. I wouldn't say necessarily powerful, but it's fine. But once they get up to level 100, like we saw with that Super Mutant Hound, yeah, this does feel a bit underwhelming. But the critical hits, they hit plenty hard. So this one, it's a step in the right direction, I would say. I would say so far, I'm leaning in the direction of I want more, is what I would say. Yeah, 2 hits. I mean, 2 hits. 2 hits is actually pretty decent. But then you take into account, you know, the reload speed, the slow fire rate, and the, you know, just the amount of ammo that you hold. Probably want to hit harder than what we're hitting, I would say. All right, let's try something real. This is still the single action revolver. Let's see what we do against something that is truly tanky. And I mean, we have no sneak bonus. We've got no, and that's the thing with something like this. Like, you're just not going to be able to get the other kind of bonuses like sneak bonus and follow through, because I'm not sneaking. It's a bonus on that. So maybe taking one for the team, although I don't have any teammates. But yeah, when you get into a situation like this, you're really feeling kind of, I mean, for people that want to roleplay with a revolver, this can, you want to hit harder than that. You want to hit something, if I'm firing point blank at the head, you would expect to hit harder than that. Even against tankier enemies, taking this many shots to take it down, just, okay, why is it not vatsing? There's an invisible wall right here. And, okay, come on, there we go, wow. Yeah, it feels, I mean, it's manageable, obviously, but it's definitely not something where you're feeling overpowered. So now we've got the Western Revolver, and let's see how we do against Bear. First, oh wow, okay, wow, that second shot, oh, that was a critical hit, that's why. That second shot was really strong. There we go. That wasn't too bad, but yeah, without a critical hit, I would have been in trouble. So that's definitely something you want to be doing when you are using these kind of weapons, I think. I mean, obviously, I know there are people that play without VATs, which means critical hits are just not something you can do. So yeah, without critical hits, definitely weaker. Let's see, this is a level 100, and there's a critical still, but yeah, we've got, as soon as he gets to us, we're gonna get, yeah, we're gonna get spanked. Let's reload that. Nice thing about the Western is it reloads everything all at once. There we go. And then we've got some ticks to clean up. I could report that against ticks, it does just fine. They are pretty much a one-shot, so that's something at least. Let's see how we do against the Deathclaw. The nice thing about Deathclaws is their weak spot is nice and large, so you're probably not gonna miss a lot of hits. That was a critical, so the critical does big damage, and oof, wow, okay, okay. I will tell you this, Deathclaws hit a lot harder than they do on live. That's a thing as well. So they're big and tanky. Now you could make the argument Deathclaws shouldn't be easy to kill, and I think that's a perfectly valid argument. So yeah, the damage is okay though. I mean, that's the thing. So far, I would say the damage is okay. All right, let's see how we do against a Scorch Beast. Let's just get its attention. Oh, it's legendary, so it should have lots of health. I mean, we're hitting for decent numbers. I will say that. So, and this one isn't, you know, it's not primed, so I'm not getting any bonus damage. I guess I could have tried the single action revolver because it is primed. So maybe it'll land, maybe it won't, but we're hitting, the critical hits are doing good. I mean, 1100 for a critical when we're not sneaking. I think that's pretty good, but yeah, legendary means it just has a ton of health. And we've got, against Scorched, one hit, close up. I mean, I would say of the three, the Western definitely feels the best. Especially if you're not sneaking. If you're not sneaking, the pipe just feels bad, honestly. But yeah, I think the Western feels the best. I wouldn't necessarily call it powerful. It's not something, you know, I'm not gonna do a role play as Clint Eastwood, anything like that, but this is, come on. Yeah, this actually, I mean, problem is the Scorch Beast has a lot of health, and this has like, even though we're hitting for decent numbers, the fire rate, you know, that's the thing. It's got a slow fire rate and a low ammo capacity. So, yeah. Come on. This is one of those ones. It's like, I don't know if this is the best tool for this particular job just because of the amount of health and the frequent reloads and slow fire rate. I'd probably switch to something, you know, something like a Gauss rifle, which obviously is not a revolver and not a pistol. But yeah, the critical hit damage with the right legendary effects is actually really good on this. The regular shots are okay. I mean, I guess the Scorch Beast should be pretty tanky. It's definitely a manageable fight. It's not a quick fight though. This is not the weapon to use if you're in a hurry to kill big targets, because it just isn't going to do that. Okay. Sometimes the fire rate can be a little, the slow fire rate, if it's not the kind of weapon used. Okay, really close. There we go. So the question is whether the buff is enough, and I would say for the most part, no, especially on the pipe revolver. I mean, when you consider the pipe revolver I'm using is benefiting from both rifle and pistol perks, and it still felt underwhelming, you know, coming from two sets of perks. Yeah, it still needs a bit of work if the goal is to ever make it feel like a strong weapon. Single action revolver, I still think it should leapfrog the Western in terms of damage. I've always thought that it should do the most just because of the funky reload mechanic. Now, the single action, out of the three, it definitely, like you feel the boost. It definitely feels stronger than it does on live. I still think it needs more though. And the Western feels the best currently, but yeah, I would still like to see that be a little bit stronger. But overall, I do think this is a step in the right direction. It makes these a lot more player friendly in normal combat. So that's a good thing. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.